So, spawning down in the bottom left-hand position of this clan fight, well, it's not really a clan fight, it's a team tournament, the ESL Euro Series, and, well, we're one map in so far. Spawning down in the bottom right-hand position as the pink Zerg representing Team Acer, it's Scarlett. And her opponent down in the bottom left, the blue Zerg. From missing in action, it's Starbuck. Good times indeed. Map number 1. It was quite a long game actually, but it was a really exciting one nonetheless. Lots of run-bys, lots of meter-on-meter aggression, a couple of great fungal growths, which nearly ended the game pretty damn quick, but it all seemed to level out into a very late game ZvZ situation where we saw Ultralisks, Infestors, Mutalisks interacting in some pretty exciting ways. So, map number 2. Big map. Ultrim Stronghold. It's huge. It's the biggest map there's ever been in StarCraft 2 in the ladder pool, if I am not mistaken, which of course makes me very happy in ZvZ. In other matchups, maybe not so much, but it should still be pretty fun. Anyway, what else could be going on? Not too much in the early game on this map. I'd be very shocked if we saw either player go for something like pull before Overlord. And the reason for that is just because the map is so huge, by the time you scouted out where your opponent was, being a 4-player spawn map, nothing could go right for you. But, regardless, things looking just as they should really. Getting an early hatchery down, straight in to an extractor. And going hatch gas pool is the best opening on a big map like this. I think on any other map it's a bit risky, but on a map this large, it's absolutely fine. So, both players are going to get out on early speed. That's one thing that we know for sure, and speed is essential considering it's so large. Other than that, things are going pretty good. If we keep a good eye on what these two are doing, a big thing that we need to keep an eye on is basically whether they pull drones out of the extractor. If they do, then it means that they're only getting speed, and then they're going to be getting a good amount of lings out, probably droning an awful lot. If they're not, if they keep drones in there, then that means there's probably going to be a baneling follow-up. I just need to quickly go and adjust a little annoying thing that seems to have occurred. Not quite sure what's going on there, but small issue with the stream for anyone watching in the VODs. Apologies for that, but everything should now be good. Okay, so this is all going as a fairly normal game. If we take a look at their gases, both players appear to be keeping all 3 drones in gas, so that means that they are therefore able to continue on into getting early tech, early banelings, early, well, pretty early layers if they do want to go down that route, and I suspect they will, because there's a decent-ish chunk of dead space around, obviously the natural base here. There's a decent-ish chunk of dead space around jumping between the third out to the natural through here, where you're able to try and utilize that. So muter on muter, regardless, is good in ZvZ, so we'd expect to see something along those lines. Both players are getting their baneling nests down. These are most likely to be defensive as opposed to being offensive. Note a couple of Zerglings being kept here by Starbuck at the moment. This is just going to help block the ramp. Always nice times. We've also got a little bit of creep spread coming down from Scarlett. Now you may be thinking, hey, what's this? You don't often see a creep tumor being used in ZvZ. The benefit of this is it means spines can be placed by this ramp should a big aggressive play come through, whereas Starbuck having to build his spine a little way back out of range of that ramp. So Zerglings and things could try and sneak through, and that isn't really ever what you'd want. It'd be very frustrating to have that happen to you, so just keeping defensive options on both sides. Additional gases coming down from Starbuck very early, along with a very early lair, but these additional gases a tad sooner than Scarlett, who's currently only on 1 gas. The lairs have started at a similar time, but getting these extra gas geysers down should give Starbuck, albeit a very small edge, in the initial gas to make those first few Mutalisks. Scarlett now adding on a second extractor. Probably going to see a few more. Scout does manage to sneak its way in here for Starbuck. That's obviously very beneficial just to see everything that could be coming down. But all in all, this is looking safe, looking solid, and neither player rushing too much. Interesting Rotron coming down from Scarlett at the moment could indicate I was going to say it could indicate that she's not going Mutalisks, but she's added on all 4 gas now, so I'd be surprised. Well, having said that, she's got +1 missile attack. This could be a big roach play coming down from Scarlett, actually, and it's an interesting way to deal with Mutalisks. And, well, if the Mutalisks are having... Well, if your opponent's going Mutalisks, basically, and you go for a lot of roaches, you will get the roaches out quicker than they get their Spire finished and their first Mutalisks through. So you can just go and kill them before anything bad happens. It is a viable strategy. After that, though, once the Mutal flock does start to increase in numbers, it becomes very difficult to make that work, obviously, since roaches can't attack up. If there are some Hydralisks, that can help. Spore Coolers can buy you some time, but actually the aggressive nature of just the roaches can be cut short due to your opponents being able to pick them out very easy. Anyway, as this is all going, we're looking pretty normal times, to be honest. A lot of lings coming through from Starbuck at the moment. That'll help him if there is a push out from Scarlett anytime soon, but actually Scarlett looks to be going onto the defensive as we've got a lot of Zerglings on the way through from the missing in action player. 22 there. 8 Banelings now morphing in. The Nidus one coming down from Scarlett. She's going to try and go for a little bit of a cool play. The third hatchery from the Acer player is taking a small amount of damage. There's not that much to defend here. Has Scarlett realized this is coming? Well, the Banelings making their way in. The Roaches, 10 of them now down on the field. We've got 14 Zerglings coming through. The Roaches are going to take quite a heap of damage here. The Banelings detonate, kill a couple of Roaches very fast. The rest of the Roaches, though, looking able to stop this for the time being. Scarlett can position those Roaches on hold command, ready to just block out any lings that come through, but that won't save the third. 10 Mutas now on their way out for Starbuck. Aces, Scarlett is in a little bit of problems because while the Nidus network is down and Queens are coming through, we need to see something cool make its way out because those Mutalisks are going to be very aggressive. The Queens will help. How many Queens are there in total? 5. So with some good transfuses, should be able to stop those Mutalisks. Mutas aren't that great against Queens, especially when there's a number of them. Still though, moving on in, we've got Scarlett going on the aggressive. The Roaches coming through too. The Queens need to get some great damage down onto these Mutalisks. Transfuses have to be solid. We can see them already making their way through. The Mutalisk count, though, is not really dropping quickly enough. More Queens making their way out, but great prioritization from Starbuck takes down those Queens very early on, and suddenly Scarlett's push not doing too much. A few lings, yes, made it up into the main base, but that's not the best thing in the world because not too many drones were killed. 4 Scarlett down in workers regardless. A couple of Roaches attempting to stream by, but with so many Zerglings already out for the missing in action player, this is looking very strong for the moment. The Mutalisks now dealing some very good damage as their numbers increase. And remember, Scarlett hasn't even started a Spire as of yet. No Spire down, and that's what's causing the problem. No anti-air, aside from these spores and a couple of Queens. Attempting to keep the Nidus alive just by building a lot of spores around them, but not done in time is the simple answer. One Mutalisk does get taken down, regardless, though. That's a nice little pick-off. Somewhat justifies building 4 Spore Crawlers by getting a single Mutalisk. It's 100 gas for only minerals, so I guess that makes it worthwhile. But we should make no mistake at this point. Starbuck is ahead by a decent chunk. Scarlett needs to do something pretty special if we're going to see her take this second game. Starbuck, though, starting to work through the Queens, using his lings to prioritize them because once they're dead, there really isn't much in the way of anti-air for these Mutalisks, so they can run free, roam about, start picking off anything they want. This Spore Crawler likely to get focused pretty quick. Doubt it will finish constructing, but what will go down is this third hatch if it's not very, very cautious. The Nidus Worm, or the Nidus Network, not getting targeted yet. Instead, the Infestation Pit being prioritized just in case any Infestors were coming out. Only one Queen working away at the moment at those Mutalisks, and they really aren't a threat. The Nidus Network going to get taken down too. Couple of Roaches getting dished out before the Nidus Network is going to die. One Mutalisk did fall there, which isn't really the greatest play, but with Spores defending the other bases, the third is really the only one that could get taken down. Back at home though, great positioning on those Roaches by Scarlett, behind the mineral line, so they're out of range of the spines. More damage is coming through at the moment. We can see that obviously the hatchery is likely to take a decent beating, but with the Mutalisk coming back, I think it should stay up, especially once the rest of the flock returns. That damage output going to increase pretty steadily. No upgrades for these Mutalisks, interestingly enough, and the reason for that is there's no need to rush out the Carapace upgrade since there aren't any Mutalisks from Scarlett, so the Bouncing Glaive, but +1 attack wouldn't be a terrible decision. So Starbuck now up, 59 to 42 drones. That's a big economic lead, and we can see that reflected here as Starbuck just pulling in a decent chunk more money. And this is just allowing him to get further and further ahead in this game, looking to be getting in a good spot. What he's got to be careful of though, and what could be an avenue to bring this game back for Scarlett, are the Infestors. A couple of good fungal growths on these Mutalisks with a decent number of queens underneath chipping away at them may do some magic. But it's going to be a lot to try and make this work. The Spore Cooler getting transfused, that's really the only thing keeping this hatchery alive at the moment. Should that hatchery fall, Scarlett is in an awful spot, because then not only is production decreased, but the queen production is lowered. And having less queen production when that's your only form of anti-air other than spores is going to be challenging. Infestors are there. This is a big clumped group of Mutalisks. Is Scarlett going to try and get that fungal? Well, for the moment, the Mutas just being very aggressive. Transfuses are coming down on the hatchery. They are chained down, but not going to be enough. Nice pick off there by Starbuck, who retreats away with his Mutaflock. The Mutalisk count currently sitting at 12. We got Roaches coming out as well. Tunning Claws coming out. Starbuck getting ahead in the Roach count, the Muta count. The only thing he doesn't have is Infestors. He's even getting down the Hydroden before Scarlett. He's up by 78 supply. He's massively in the lead. But Scarlett doing everything she can just to try and bring this game back. Nice fungal growth goes down. Gonna keep chain fungling these Mutalisks. With the Queens, that's actually a decent amount of damage output. But the Roaches, not helpful at all. They just soak up some of those Bouncing Glaives. More damage coming through. Two Mutas go down there. Nice pick off. But it's the Roach follow-up. This is what's concerning me for Scarlett. I don't think she's even aware that this is coming through at the moment. The Roaches just going to come as a bit of a surprise. The Infestor's low on energy. I think there's one fungal growth there. That's it. So not much to really deal with all of these Roaches. A few more Infestors get taken down. Suddenly Scarlett looking to be on her last leg in this map. The damage being done is absolutely monstrous. With more Roaches rallied across the map, they're just plowing up. GG is cooled, and Starbuck is going to level out this series to be 1-1.